So OnlyJayus has made a few statements, both in direct response and also independent of my coverage of the situation, and rather predictably with some objections to some of the arguments that I was making. Noor has also put out her own statement recently, so I thought I'd cover it all because you seem to be super interested in this story, and I'm really doing my best to try and navigate the undeniable messiness and potential mistruths or over-exaggeration being flung around by pretty much everyone involved here. So before we get into all that today, be sure to get your grubby paws on that subscribe button, and I don't mean just to touch it or lick it, but to smash it, to pummel it, to lightly tap it, I don't know, whatever it takes. I don't care if you're watching this on your TV and subscribing is super inconvenient. I don't care if you're in the shower and getting out to subscribe would cause irreparable water damage to your phone. Just do it by any means necessary, even if you have to take a life or two, or 3 or 4. Or 9 or 10. For now though, I feel like we should start with OnlyJayus' response to me directly, and then we can take a look at her new video as well as Noor's statement. So I guess we'll start with the first comment that she made shortly after the last video was released, where she basically critiques my Jayus doesn't have evidence claim. I thought I made it pretty clear in the video that obviously there's evidence for some of the claims she's making, like, you know, the inappropriate contact with Noor, for sure, there's evidence for that, there's literal video of it, but pretty much every other claim is baseless. A bunch of random anonymous DMs claiming things that have no evidence behind them don't really count as evidence because they're anonymous accounts that can be made by anyone. Like I said in the last video, I could literally make an account and message Jayus with a story just like that. And stuff like that can't be used as proof or evidence here. A lot of people were critiquing Jayus for sort of, I guess, watching content being made about her because of this whole situation. I'm personally not a fan of that critique. Like, there was this comment in particular saying Jayus actively watching everything posted about the situation kind of shows the nervousness she feels with the mix-up of claims and outright false information she's let out. And whilst I do believe that there is a big mix-up of claims and false information that she is letting out, I don't think that her watching the videos is an indication that she is aware of the guilt that she is, I guess, guilty of. I feel like it's only normal after you make such severe accusations to be curious or want to know what the public think about them, especially because my videos on this topic tend to do very well as well, so it's very possible that a lot of people are being introduced to this topic from my videos. Like, I think my first video on the subject got double the views that OnlyJayus' response video did, and like 8 times the views Matty Westbrook's response did. At least on YouTube. Obviously, TikTok's different. So yeah, I mean, it makes total sense why OnlyJayus would want to watch these videos. I don't think that's an indication of guilt by any means. And then there was this pinned comment here where someone says, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Jayus say with a singular minor and then write with a plural minors in that response a day ago, which is true, right? She did do that. See if I can get it up in this video because it was here. Yeah, it's this comment here, because they cheated on me with minors and lied about it to millions, whereas obviously her initial claim was that she was cheated on with a minor. It doesn't really take a genius to realize that she has changed that to the plural minors now. She says, Dankyjabo, I feel like I addressed this in my video, quite literally said I knew about Noor, but these new teenagers with Matty's phone number, I didn't until recently. Come on. Even had some people responding to me that weren't OnlyJayus, obviously coming to her defense as well. She literally stated in her video that she knew about Noor, and then other victims came forward, so one minor and more minors. Dumb. Bro, you'll literally have no care for the timeline. A horrible journalist, and I hope you know that. I feel like this comment has summed it up pretty well with, oh yeah, the anonymous people who texted her and never replied when she asked for more proof. Yeah, that seems like tangible evidence. Also, you can disagree with him, but that without being disrespectful. I don't really care about the disrespect too much. Like, if someone really believes that I'm saying something so unbelievably stupid, then you can insult me. I've insulted people for saying things that are fucking stupid before, so it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. However, the stupid one here isn't, because simply saying that other people have come forward and showing no evidence of it and using like screenshots of Matty's phone number without any evidence of who gave them to you, how they acquired said phone number, especially when they refuse to reply to you when you ask for more evidence of what actually happened. Yeah, it can't be counted as enough evidence to make the definitive claim that they were cheating on you with more minors than just one. In fact, you can't even make the claim that they cheated on you with one minor. Like, you disprove that in your own video. We'll get to that later. People even respond to OnlyJayus, and this comment here, this reply actually has more likes than hers. Besides checking if phone numbers match with Matty's, did you check anything else? Just curious and been wanting to ask, but I haven't been on TikTok in a minute. It's like, yeah, even if we suspend disbelief and say, okay, sure, there were genuine minors who Matty gave their phone number to whilst they were in a relationship. How does that prove that she was cheating on you with those minors? Yes, I believe that giving your phone number to a bunch of minors whilst you're in a relationship or whatever is weird. Like, you shouldn't be giving your phone number to minors for, I guess, commonly, right? There is reasons to do so, obviously, but it's not a normal thing, is it? That doesn't mean she was cheating on you you with them, though. That doesn't mean she was engaging in, like, sexual intimacy with them. There's just no evidence for that whatsoever, and for you to make these claims so brazenly is grossly irresponsible. I'm trying to be less of a dick in this video and less shouty and swearing and actually, I don't know, come across as more of a productive speaker, if that makes sense, because I know the people involved in this situation are actually watching these videos, and I'm not talking down to them or anything, but I really do feel like there's some stuff I'm saying that should be listened to, because you can't just do that. Yeah, look, people in these comments are, this is great, like, that's not a valid defense here. It's still extremely irresponsible of you to throw those into the mix with your initial accusations without doing more thorough check to see if there were any basis to these claims. Anyone with a phone and time on their hands can say anything. It's your responsibility, the one making the additional accusations, to provide additional evidence, especially with this serious a topic. Saying I just found out I didn't know when you were called out for providing baseless evidence in your argument is fully a cop-out. Got her here again, because I only knew about one until more came out. But the more who came out, we know fuck all about, because you've told us nothing about them. We have no proof, we have no screenshots, we have no messages. All we have are a bunch of dubious screenshots of different perspectives of Matty's phone number, which in reality don't mean anything. I was cheated on with a minor, and to prove it, here is my ex-partner's phone number. I'm not saying she did this, obviously, but there is so little evidence here that it is genuinely possible that she just screenshotted the number on her phone like 3 times. Again, I'm not saying she did that. I don't think she did, but she could have done, and there'd be no way to disprove that at the moment. Obviously, I'm sure she can do it if, you know, what she says is true, but she showed so little that if someone genuinely believes that that is what she did, you couldn't really shit on them for it. Okay, there was one more comment that she left, but honestly, this is one of the funniest things ever. So someone left a comment saying, I can't believe he didn't discuss the daddy issues convo with a teen. This commenter is critiquing me for not addressing the daddy issues convo with a teen, right? It's self-evident there, because that was obviously quite a big part of JS's initial claims. Now, if you've seen my last video, you'll know that this comment is sarcastic, because I very much did address the daddy issues convo with a teen, and I addressed it when Matty addressed it, because there was a comment in Matty's comment section being like, I can't believe they didn't address the daddy issues convo, when Matty very clearly did address the daddy issues convo, and I made a point in the video being like, do people even watch the fucking response video before commenting? You know what, I'll just play the clip.
Now on to these texts. The context to this is that I was on a Zoom call playing Among Us with people whose average age was 20. And me and a person from this Zoom call ended up messaging. And as you can see, when I asked how old they were, and they told me, I freaked out, and for some idiotic reason, I tried to make a joke. I deeply regret sending that text message. I should not have been using that language with somebody who was younger than me. I should not have said that. And as you can see from this screenshot, that Bella absolutely refuses to acknowledge, this same person who screen recorded our entire conversation that Bella read out loud in their YouTube video, is clearly stating that I stopped talking to them after I found out how old they were.
They didn't say anything about the daddy issue convo with the teen. This is what confuses me. This is what really worries me about humanity and the planet, is that this comment here has over 100 likes. Did they even watch the fucking video? Because they clearly did talk about the daddy issue convo with the teen. Like, they did. Right, so now that we're all caught up, we can pretty confidently say that this comment is ironic, right? It's a funny joke, hence the laugh reactions that I replied with. OnlyJayus doesn't happen to be in on the joke and responded, unironically, this. So they're in agreement with the sarcastic comment. Now, this is actually quite worrying, because it implies that she hasn't actually seen Matty's response video. Because if she had actually seen Matty's response video, she would know that Matty did address the daddy issues convo with the teen. But even if she has watched it, the fact that she left this comment implies, not even implies, but it shows that she wasn't fucking listening properly. She's in agreement with the comment that was clearly sarcastic. It's so funny. It's actually hilarious. Did she just have her friends message her like the most important parts of the video and not actually watch it? Kind of weird to watch my coverage of the situation but not the actual video itself, but even then, if you watched my video, you would know that they did address it. So did they just sort of skim through my video as well? I mean, I can't blame them for it. I was quite rude at points, and maybe you don't want to sit through a 40-minute video of me potentially being a dick, so I'm not necessarily blaming them for that, but like, they should have seen Matty's response for sure if they're responding to it. But either way, yeah, in terms of public interaction with me, that's pretty much all we have to say that is substantial. I feel like now we can talk about her, and I feel like now we can talk about the responses that she's put out on her TikTok page itself.
So you know this text that they're parading around being like, look, the child said that I stopped talking to them when I found out they were a child.
Yeah, okay, so this is, again, for context here, this is the daddy issues thing, which apparently Matty didn't talk about, even though JS is now making a video talking about them talking about it. So, I don't know what happened there, but fuck it, go off. But anyway, they claim that Matty cut off the screenshot and left out some vital information. I'm gonna spoil it real quick, but the screenshot, the full one that JS shows, doesn't really change anything.
Notice how it's cut off? That's because I said it's worth sharing, because telling a 14-year-old you're gonna give them daddy issues is strange. I said, man, I didn't even think about that.
Okay, so here's the full screenshot. It ends here from what we saw in Matty's video, but then JS responded, it is worth sharing because telling a 14-year-old that you're gonna give them daddy issues is strange within itself. This was in response to the former 14-year-old saying that they stopped after they found out that they were a child.
Let me get the rest of our messages, and they sent the rest because it didn't stop. Which, that whole thing I did put in my YouTube video if you wanted to go see it. But you know what they didn't put in their video? Nick.
Okay, wait. So let's finish the daddy issues thing. JS did put the rest of the messages on that sort of, like, on the video, right? The rest of the messages are there. There's a couple screenshots for sure, but there was nothing flirtatious, and it never went on for more than, what, one conversation? Like, after the conversation where Matty found out that this former 14-year-old was 14 years old, they never spoke again. But if Matty wanted to engage romantically or intimately with this person, obviously they wouldn't have stopped there. Like, the fact they started freaking out about them being a child, but then cut contact with them afterwards, clearly shows that they were not interested in pursuing the child. This is what I mean, where it's like, is this what you consider to be cheating with minors? Because if this is your evidence, then you have to understand why people are annoyed at you. Because quite frankly, it doesn't prove anything. All it proves is that Matty made a really silly joke that ultimately meant nothing. In the context of predation or grooming, saying you're gonna give a 14-year-old daddy issues can obviously be horrible, but in this context where it ultimately meant nothing, it just, I don't know, it's just a bad joke, I guess. Like, that kid's not gonna be traumatized by that message or impacted negatively in any way, shape, or form, really. Once again, because nothing ended up happening. And there was no intent on either side for anything to end up happening. Like, that much is clear. I don't know why she shows that screenshot like it's a gotcha moment when I don't know if I'm missing something here, but it doesn't mean anything. But now Bella talks about Nick, and I do think that there is actually good points being made here.
They didn't mention Nick at all. I wonder why. They also said that them being with a 17-year-old wasn't cheating on me because we weren't dating at the time. That is just laughable, because we had been dating for 2 months at this point. And all this shit happened in July?
Yeah, but it wasn't cheating though, because you admit in your videos that you were also talking to another girl. I'll pull the video up now.
When Matty posted all these weird videos with some other girl, I just left LA for like a week. I went to Florida to go visit some other girl I was talking to. Get out of LA.
So if you were actively talking to another girl, then that means you were cheating as well. Or maybe the relationship wasn't as solid as you claim it was. Or maybe it was a polyamorous relationship. And if it wasn't, then yeah, you were cheating as well. Again, am I missing something here? Like, you are admitting that you were talking to another girl, which is fine. You can talk to another girl, romantic is not a problem. But if you were in a relationship and they were cheating on you with Noor, but you were also talking to another girl, you were cheating on them with said other girl. I mean, it's not fucking rocket science, unless if I'm missing something, I am the dumbest fucker on this planet. But I really don't feel like it's that complicated.
To respond to it, but I don't think y'all heard. They admitted to it, while also trying to downplay it, and then also at the same time saying that Bella's a liar. Bella lied about everything.
Admitted to what? Being intimate with Noor? I mean, they didn't really have a choice, to be honest, because there's video footage of it. I do agree, though, they were definitely downplaying how physically intimate they actually were. Yeah, I'll definitely give OnlyJayus that. Like, Matty was definitely downplaying it. This is the thing, I'm not a fan of Matty either. I think they're really weird. In fact, as technically legal as dating Amara was, and as much as I don't think Amara was groomed or that Matty's like a pedophile for dating her or anything, at the end of the day, they were 23 years old and a famous TikToker asking someone someone who was still in high school, 18 years old, to go on a date and like be in a relationship with them. I think predatory isn't over-exaggeration, but it is an absolute, I don't know, potential abuse of a power dynamic. I mean, the relationship seemed like it went pretty well and they're both happy and both parties claim that, you know, nothing fishy happened and it was all totally okay. So, I mean, I guess maybe it's not really our thing to criticize at the end of it all, but I also wouldn't blame you for thinking that it's just a strange move to begin with, or even a creepy one. Like, strange might be underplaying it. If you think it's creepy, I think that's totally reasonable.
I don't know how to respond to this level of gaslighting. This is the reason. I can't. Believe the victims, you guys, because they're the ones coming out. They're the reasons why I came out and talked about this now. Talked about the cheating years ago. Talked about these minors recently because I didn't know until recently.
Look, me personally, if I got like an anonymous message begging me to call out a huge YouTuber or a huge influencer for potential sexual assault and they claim that they were abused by this person at some point in their life, I wouldn't immediately go to the internet and go, guys, I got this anonymous message from someone who I know nothing about. I didn't bother asking for further evidence. I'm just going to believe them straight up and say that this influencer here is needs to be cancelled because they groom children. Yeah. Oh, wait, what's that? You want evidence for this claim? Well, I didn't think that far. I didn't bother asking, actually. Oh, you want to know who made the claim at least? No, I can't do that either. I do want to talk a little bit about Nick though, because I do think Jayus might have a point here. So we'll go back to this YouTube video. What is this, by the way? Quizzes. I think this is a new feature that YouTube has. You can add quizzes to your video. What is this? Question 1. Did Matty cheat? Are we actually going to get... Let's play the quiz, shall we? Play at home as well, folks. Did Matty cheat? I'm going to go with yes. Yes! We got the yes! We got the answer right. Beautiful. Was Matty physical with a minor? Technically, yeah, so we're going to answer yes. Yes! We got it right again! If a 17-year-old asks your age, what's the appropriate response? I am X years old. Don't worry, it's all good. I'm not that much older. I feel like this is a bit of a leading question, to be honest. No, obviously, I'm gonna go X years old. Oh, mate, I'm smashing this quiz. But again, though, nothing intimate or romantic came from this set of text messages here, so this is misleading. Should we be telling 14-year-old girls that we were going to give them daddy issues? I'm gonna go with no. Yes! Again, we got it right! Although I will say, again, Matty addressed that pretty succinctly and appropriately, I think, in their response video. And once again, it meant nothing and led to nowhere, so there's not even any point mentioning it. It's just a dumb joke. It's just a dumb, bad joke. It doesn't make them a predator. Is it okay to threaten you life because of somebody? No, but you did that as well, OnlyJayus. Like, Matty has proof of that. So a little bit hypocritical, that one. Should we normalize behavior like this? And this is the timestamp of it. What is it?
It's gonna blow my mind for sure, but I'll mentally prepare and get ready for it now, because yeah, there's no way people are gonna listen to me. Never had any sort of physical relationship with a minor. Chris Hansen walks in the room like, come on!
That was a banger joke to end the video, that one. I'm not too sure. I'm confused. I'm scared now. I'm scared I might lose my perfect. I'm gonna go, yes? No! Let's actually talk about the Nick stuff now, because this is where the whole alcohol claim came into things, and I thought there was some more dubious stuff there from Jayus.
Noor was living in the same building complex as Maddie, Nick, and Scott. Maddie and Nick were very much a part of this. Scott, not so much. He was kind of always on his own or out of the house, so not him. Carter was actually there while they were all drinking, but he was also extremely young. He wasn't even living there yet. If I remember right, he was Noor's friend, okay? These two adults, Nick and Maddie, would provide alcohol to these TikTok teenagers in the building.
So this here is just throwing more shit at Matty for no reason. Well, there is a reason. The reason is to make Matty look worse when there's no evidence for it. This is probably why Jayus tells the lie that Matty was 21 during the time of all this instead of just 20 years old, which they say was just them getting information wrong. I think it was a lie and she's using the, oh no, I just miscalculated as a crutch. Either way, even if she wasn't lying and it was a genuine mistake, it's like before you make these accusations that are very fucking serious, you better do your due diligence and make sure everything that you're saying is correct. But anyway, knowing that Matty was 20 years old, obviously it's not possible for them to have been providing all the alcohol. That was Nick. Now, do you think that a 21-year-old providing alcohol for a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old is like this horrible thing to do? I don't know. I guess it's subjective. Underage drinking happens all the time. Like if you're a younger sibling and you have an older sibling, you probably at some point got them to buy alcohol for you. Does that make them a terrible person? I personally don't think so, but again, I guess it's subjective. Obviously, obviously here, the context is completely different. Yeah, so this message here from Bella, I think, is totally fair, actually. Getting drunk with a 17-year-old, no matter their clout, isn't gonna help your livelihood. Connections are everything, I get it, but this isn't the way to go about it. I think that's actually, like, mega reasonable from JS. And then Nick just replies with, I mean, some bullshit is the best way that I can describe it. I'm not even gonna read it. It's just, like, it really just is some bullshit.
It was later that I realized that Maddie had it too. And it was really only this month that I learned the true extent of Noor and Maddie's relationship. They would drink, they would make videos, they would go to each other's apartments. Maddie was texting her while in bed with me, telling her that they loved her, telling them that they were in a PR relationship with me. I don't even have the time to begin to explain how funny that sentence is, but they claim to be in a PR relationship with OnlyJayus. What?
You can't really be mad at people not believing you when you say stuff like that because we weren't shown any evidence for any of that. Not one text message, not like, just nothing. But then there's this other message here. Nick posted a response video to the allegations that Noor put out like 5 years ago when this first came into fruition. So yeah, this is like really reinstigating old scandals. And we will get into this very briefly. I don't want to go too much into the Noor-Nick stuff, though it is important. It's actually quite hard to find evidence or like a compendium of everything that happened because it was so long ago and a lot of things have been deleted at least. But we'll go to like some commentary videos that were made 5 years ago and try to dissect what happened. But either way, JS's response to Nick's video was, damn, Nick, thought the lesson would have been don't drink and sleep with minors. So this is a completely new development here, sleeping with minors. Not whatever this vague bullshit means. You left LA indefinitely because you and everybody else knows what you did with Noor, with the other girls, with Bailey and Sid. This is not a video you should have posted if you had any intention of doing the right thing. I'm horrified that I ever considered you my friend. Now, as far as I'm aware, I don't think JS made any public statements about Nick ever until now. Again, you can make of that what you will. She's not obligated to. It doesn't prove that she feels any type of way about it all. One thing that JS has been saying a lot in response to comments like, why not go to the police then if they're grooming and stuff, is that it's not her place to go to the police because she's not one of the victims. I've mentioned before that's not really how it should work. Like, if you see an assault going on, just because you're not the victim of the assault, you should call the police. However, the reason the police weren't called is because JS herself does not see 20 and 17 as pedophilia as much as they claim they do. Like, I'm sure if Matty uploaded that video and it wasn't with 17-year-old Noor, but with 13-year-old Samara, then she probably would have called the police. Because if you see a 20-year-old necking on with a 13-year-old, you don't think, well, I'm not the victim, so I'm not gonna call the cops. You call the fucking cops. That is a much harder age difference to, like, defend. Anyway, let's talk about Nicholas for a bit. We'll start by looking at their TikTok. Oh no, we can't. It's all gone. Signs of an innocent man, I suppose. Now look, obviously the deletion of a TikTok does not immediately presuppose guilt upon the person. However, I think we can all agree it certainly doesn't look good or help their case. As far as I'm aware though, this is not a recent deletion. Like, they've been gone for years now. Now, I feel like we should actually watch Noor's TikTok before we get into a brief overview of the Noor and Nick drama from 5 years ago. I use drama just instinctually, or for lack of a better word. I know that allegations like this really shouldn't be considered drama, like petty drama, but I feel like using words like case is just way too pretentious.
There's a very serious situation that I've been meaning to address, and I just needed to gather myself and all my stuff so that I could lay it out. This is about Maddie, and so I'm just going to kind of start from the top and give you guys my whole side of things. The text messages to OnlyJayus saying that I wanted to be involved was because I had to file a police report against Maddie's roommate Nick back in 2021, and Maddie was no help to that case at all. I had sent some text messages to Maddie back in February of 2023, just kind of making small talk, and I'll tell you why. This email was sent to me January 18th, 2023, and I cropped out the bottom because it contained the officer's contact information, but you can pause through this.
Let's take a look at that, shall we? Well, first, let's look at the text between Noor and Matty in 2023. Yeah, I mean, it all just looks like small talk, to be fair. I'm not going to read it out because it's not that important. I guess I can understand why Matty thought they were on good terms at the time JS made their video, though, because it's not like Noor's being hostile here. I don't think that affects the credibility of Noor at all, by the way. I'm just saying I understand why Matty thought that. Okay, and then you've got this email from the LAPD. Seems as though an investigation, like an official one, hasn't actually taken place. I don't think one took place at any point, by the way, but a report was filed. Again, I don't want to sound like a dick here, but reports aren't proof of anything. You can report anyone for anything at any time. And from everything that I'm aware of, this never went past the report stage at any point, which I think Noor actually talks about in this video, so I'm going to shut up and let her talk.
With that being said, the assault case that I had filed against Maddie's roommate Nick back in 2021 was passed to a new detective, which means I had to give them a lot of new information. And the reason that I had sent those text messages is because I needed to see if that was still Maddie's phone number. Maddie wasn't the only person whose phone number I had to give over to the detective, so there was more phone numbers other than Maddie, but from what I know, there was no cooperation from anybody else involved, hence why the case is no longer active. I just want to say that I am not accusing Maddie Westbrook of any type of crime or assault, but I do think it is very, very weird as a 20-year-old to be hanging out with 17-year-olds and minors.
Okay, so Noor doesn't even think that Maddie broke any substantial or meaningful laws. Even if 20 and 17 is technically illegal, it clearly isn't, like, immoral enough to be even deemed a real crime to Noor, who was in that situation. So again, the legal drinking age is 21, but how many people have broken that law? And how many people actually give a fuck? Pretty much everyone in America has sped at some point in their life. I mean, I'm also hearing about Romeo and Juliet laws, so I'm not even sure if 17 and 20 is even technically illegal in California. But ultimately, I don't think the legality actually changes any morals involved in the situation, and morally, 17 and 20 is not a demonstrable offense, in my opinion.
Also providing alcohol and an apartment for said minors to drink in.
Yeah, but they weren't the ones providing alcohol. They were only 20 years old. That was Nick.
Maddie also continued to stand behind their old roommate after multiple people had come out about them getting assaulted by him.
I don't think there's any evidence for that. In fact, from the little I do know about the Noor and Nick scandal, it was just sort of both of them going at each other with no real evidence on either side, which unfortunately is just how a lot of these cases go, because in situations of potential SA, there's only really two people in the room, no one's ever like recording, there might not be very much actionable text evidence, for example, so it's very hard to get like real legitimate witness testimony or evidence that isn't circumstantial.
So I just wanted to say that my experience with Maddie when I was 17 years old was very inappropriate and very weird behavior coming from somebody who was 20 years old. And no matter what, 17 and 20 is not right, even if it is a 3-year age gap, even if the person is just about to turn 18. It doesn't matter.
You think 20 and 17 isn't right, even if they're just about to turn 18. I think they absolutely have a point in saying that the way Matty was acting as a 20-year-old with 17-year-old Noor was weird. Like, that's fine. I think they actually used the right word there. Weird. Like, weird is the right and suitable, appropriate word to use there, right? Not predatory, not pedophilic, but also not appropriate.
That is still a minor and an adult, and the adult always knows better in those situations.
It's still a minor and an adult, but technically 17 and 18 is a minor and an adult. I don't think anyone would claim that that's an inappropriate age difference. Is 17 and 19 an inappropriate age difference? I don't think many people would claim that either. 17 and 20? It's not that much more of a difference, really. I've said this many times in my videos. I personally wouldn't do it. I personally wouldn't be friends with anyone who's doing that. I think it is weird. I think it is inappropriate. But I don't think it's monstrous or predatory or pedophilic. Definitely not pedophilic.
Just so you guys know as well, the age of consent in California is 18 years old, so a 17-year-old cannot consent to anything. The age to buy alcohol is 21. Maddie's old roommate was the one to buy the alcohol. With that being said, I am not a victim of a crime with Maddie, but definitely some very, very weird behavior. And that is all I'm going to say on this topic.
Okay, so I guess the Romeo and Juliet laws do apply, at least according to Noor. 17 and 20 isn't illegal. Again, I don't think Noor's a lawyer, so I can't say that for sure, but even they don't feel as though what happened was illegal by any means. All right, I've just looked it up. There are no Romeo and Juliet laws in California. And technically, a sexual activity between 17 and 18 is actually illegal. So it's all fucked in California. Like, those laws, I mean, they're not listened to. Like, I highly doubt you can find a case, in recent history at least, of an 18-year-old actually being prosecuted for sleeping with a 17-year-old. It just seems like it's a bit of a bullshit law that many, many people break, and no one really cares about. For good reason. Like, you should not be arrested for statutory rape if you're an 18-year-old who sleeps with a 17-year-old. Can we all agree on that? Can we all at least agree on that? Anyway, let's briefly go over the Noor and Nick situation from a few years back before we end the video, just so we have a bit more context of that TikTok. We won't talk about it too long, because from everything I've seen, I think Noor wants to move on from this as well. That's their one and only statement, so we're not going to dwell for too long, but I do feel like it is important to understand roughly what went on. And I'm not going to kid here, like, this coverage that I'm about to give does not do the story its complete justice, so take it with a grain of salt, I guess. It's also extremely messy and pretty much impossible to decipher exactly what happened in this situation, by the way. Partially because the main coverage I've got of it is this really fucking horrible commentary video from 3 years ago by a YouTuber called Anna Oop. Maybe their content is better now, who knows, but like, this video sucks. If you look at the comments though, people seem to overwhelmingly be on the side of Nick. Yeah, look, I've just gone to the top comments. I'll put this on screen right now. now, all of these people say that Nick is the innocent one. They feel bad for them even. And you remember when I called this video like shit? You guys are gonna understand exactly what I mean when I press play.
I want you all to know that the allegations made against me in November are completely false.
How are you gonna get exposed for lying about SA with proof and still go ahead and accuse a TikToker of laying his hands on you? Have we not learned from the Jack and Sienna situation? Before we jump right in, make sure to buckle up because there's a lot to uncover in today's video because even Christian got exposed by the BFF podcast for using—
Okay, all right, no one cares about Christian or the BFF podcast, but like this video is mad. Imagine if I did my videos like this. Are they any better now? I want to see a recent video from this person.
Could Drake's interview with Bobby Alpop—
Okay, they fixed the audio quality, the editing's a lot less obnoxious, they don't seem to be as bad now. Anyway, back to the topic at hand, So they start by giving a very unneeded overview of the Sienna May stuff, basically to pad out the video so they can put ads on. We're gonna skip that bit.
Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because another TikToker who is known as Noor And made a very strong claim and accusation towards another TikToker, Nicholas Ray, a couple of months ago for SAing her. I know what you're thinking. You'd probably just go ahead and side with Noor for being the victim in this situation, but then you realize afterward that Noor never really showed any receipts or proof that she did get SA'd by Nicholas. It all started in 2021 when Noor posted a long statement on Twitter, basically accusing Nicholas Ray of SAing her while she was intoxicated. Here's what she had to say in her statement. On July 5th, I believe. I say I believe because I was heavily intoxicated the whole week leading to that day. Not blackout, but enough for it to affect my decision making. Me and Nicholas had a complicated relationship because I had wanted attention from Nicholas, but at the time I was 17 years old and he was 21. He said he wanted to wait until I was 18 to even do anything, even though he kissed me the first day we met when he was driving his car sober and I was in the passenger seat drunk. I oftentimes have very bad anxiety/panic attacks, and the night of July 5th, 2021, I had a very bad one. I was curled up in Nicholas's bed crying, shaking, and unable to breathe properly for about 40 minutes. I just wanted someone to be around. Nicholas asked if we can talk, and I said no. I was in a panic state and couldn't form sentences in my own head. Once I caught my breath, Nicholas pinned me down and proceeded to me. I was confused. I had a very bad nosebleed afterwards. I got up, left, and went back to my apartment. On the night of July 5th, 2021, I did not consent to any type of sexual activities. There was no verbal, written, or previous consent. I tried to talk to him afterwards, but he claims that I lied and that I'm lying. I am not. Nicholas Ray does not deserve any platform he has. Not to mention all the messed up BS and manipulative things he has done to other girls in my social circle. Of course, when Noor made these claims against Nicholas, so many people believed her side of the situation and sided with her. And of course, he received major backlash from millions of people after not only he got accused of SA, but also sleeping with a minor without consent.
Okay, we're done with this video because that's pretty much all we needed it for, was for Noor's statement essentially. As you can see, there was no evidence given by Noor, it was just a statement, but of course that does not discredit the story necessarily because evidence can be very difficult to provide in situations like these, and if this is a real thing that went down, obviously you want to get that out, and not having evidence can actually be quite painful, which is why the believe the victim narrative has become so popular recently, because it's sort of been recognized that providing hard evidence that isn't just circumstantial for cases like these is almost impossible in a lot of cases. So as a result of that, there are certain people who have this tendency to immediately disbelieve or discredit victims for not having ample proof, which can obviously be really traumatic and fucking horrible for people who want to speak out about the horrible shit that has been done for them. In terms of videos that Noor made about this at the time, they also posted a TikTok lip sync video about the assault.
Then I think it's time you grow up, admit you did it.
Now, luckily, I have managed to find this archive of the response videos that Nicholas did end up putting out, so we'll give those a wee watch as well.
But I do want you all to know that the allegations made against me in November are completely false, and my legal team and I have spent the past 3 months collecting evidence, receipts, and statements to prove that not only are these disgusting allegations false, but they were made strictly with the intent to gain attention online and to get back at me for not wanting to be with them. These false allegations are not being taken lightly, and there are going to be serious repercussions for the people that made
Okay,
them.
so that was the first mistruth. I don't think there were any repercussions for either of these people. They all just went on with their lives, so a totally null and void empty threat. I'm not sure if that adds or removes credibility from Nicholas here, but it's bullshit either way.
The situation offline because we feel like something this serious really does not have a place on the internet. And the only reason I'm making these videos now is because I felt like I needed to defend myself and tell you guys the truth about the situation. I'm going to tell you guys what actually happened and share with you enough evidence so that you know that these accusations are false. But as I stated earlier, it still is an ongoing legal matter, so there's some major evidence that we're choosing not to share at this point that we are going to be saving for court. All right, let's go ahead and start with Noor here. Noor's statement that she put out has so many holes, inconsistencies, and just straight up lies throughout the entire thing. Plain and simple, I did not even see Noor on the night of July 5th, which is the night that she claimed the assault happened. That night, she threw a party that I did not go to. I was actually at the gym at the time, and before that, she was at a shoot for a music video. She was actually cut out of most of the music video because she went to the set and lied about her age and was underage drinking, but I was able to find the shot that shows that she was in fact.
You can't really blame her for underage drinking, like throw that in there to discredit her when you are the reason why she was doing a lot of her underage drinking. Definitely a little bit dubious from Nicholas there, who once again, I want to remind you, has deleted fucking everything. Anyway, he says that he was at the gym on the night of July 5th and that they didn't actually meet. I do remember in Noor's initial statement, they said they were really drunk and they can't remember the exact date. Again, though, there's no evidence on either side, but I guess because there was no evidence on Noor's side, you can't really prove a negative.
Not to mention that Noor's statement, comments, and tweets are contradicting each other all the time. And just for an example of that, she claims that it happened in July. Yeah, right here in this comment contradicts herself and says that it happened in June.
This happened in June 2021 and I turned 18 July 2021. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. It's a inconsistency there.
Now, before I continue, I want to finish telling you guys what actually happened. I want to make it clear that Noor did have a panic attack around me once, like she said in her statement. However, the details she gave are completely false. The panic attack was very mild and happened weeks before the supposed date, and everything was completely fine with us afterwards. After her panic attack, I was comforting Noor. She tried to kiss me, and I did not shut it down. However, her kissing me was the only thing that happened, and allowing that was 100% a mistake on my part, and I should have never let that happen. But for her to twist it and say that I sexually assaulted her in any way is a complete lie. After that, Noor continues to try to hook up with me and would get extremely upset and angry when I told her that I did not want to do anything sexual with her. She would tell me I was a pussy and that I needed to man the fuck up, and eventually it got to the point that she was trying to sleep with me while I was blackout drunk. She even went so far as to try to drag one of my friends out of my bed when I was blacked out drunk and telling them that they needed to leave because she wanted some dick, even though I was completely passed out and in no position to make any decisions or consent to anything, and had made it abundantly clear prior to this that I did not want to do anything with her.
That's the thing. That text message there are multiple people who have confirmed this. You need to actually show us those people who are confirming it. Because now Nicholas is making the very serious claim that Noor attempted to rape him. So now you've just got two people claiming with no evidence that they are victims of each other and that the other person tried to rape them. Except Noor is saying it did happen and Nicholas is saying that I guess she attempted for it to happen. But there's no evidence on either side for any of these things. So now we have two potential victims accusing a potential perpetrator, neither of whom have any real evidence for their claims. This is what I meant when I said that it's all just a horrifically messy situation where it's impossible to actually detect or come up with a reasonable hypothesis for what actually happened.
But other than that, Noor was completely fine with me in the following weeks, up until I told her that I just strictly wanted to be friends with her, and then a couple of days later, she started making accusations against me. Noor has literally admitted to being a compulsive liar in the past, and blatantly lied not only in her statement, but afterwards in her follow-up videos as well. I can't fit them all in here because there's a lot, but I'll just give you a few examples. She went online and claimed that I had fled California and that I was banned from Los Angeles.
Why did he pack up all his shit and flee? He's no longer allowed in LA.
I'm not banned from LA, and I was simply at home for the holidays to spend time with my family. I ended up going back to my apartment in LA about a week after she posted that. She also went around telling my friends that if I stepped foot on the premises of the apartment complex that I lived in, then I was going to be arrested. I was not. Noor put these lies out there to make the situation seem worse than it was and to try to prove her case even though they were complete lies. She also said that the second video she uploaded was going to be the last time she talked about it. However, she uploaded a third video the next day. And on that third video, she said she was only going to leave it up for 24 hours and then take it down. But she kept it up for months because it was getting views and gaining her followers. Not to mention she was laughing at the situation literally a couple of hours after she posted the initial video because of how bad the comments on my videos were. This entire thing was planned out for months. She waited till I was gaining a lot of followers and getting a ton of views and until it was a trend to make this type of video because she knew it would perform better if she did. After that, she followed it up with a bunch of couples content with her boyfriend because she knew it would get views. I talked to multiple people who were close to Noor when she was releasing the videos and they've all said the exact same thing. That she was bragging about how many followers she was gaining, and it was obvious that she only put the videos online to get views.
See, this is the fucking thing I hate, though. You can't say shit like that. If you spoke to these people, then surely you would have evidence of them saying these things. And if they were former friends or around Noor or in her circle or whatever, then you could very easily go, here is a person, here is proof that they know and or were friends with Noor, and here is them making this claim about Noor laughing about it or doing it for attention or whatever the fuck. But when you just say things with no evidence, how the fuck are we supposed to believe you? Especially when if everything you're saying is true, evidence would be very easy to fucking obtain.
Noor took them down. She claimed she put up the videos because she wanted to expose me, but as soon as they weren't getting views anymore and she had got what she wanted and gained her following, she took them down because she wanted people to forget that that's how she got her followers. Noor even went as far as to brag about how many followers she was gaining from the situation on her private story and would post stuff like this when people would make videos.
And that just looks like she's posting about being happy that she's gained followers. I get quite happy when I gain followers. I don't know what this proves exactly. I guess some videos were deleted, but like there's no proof that the intent intention of deleting those videos is so people forgot where she got the followers from or whatever. Also, it's very ironic that Nicholas is critiquing her for deleting videos when he deleted his entire fucking account. So that certainly doesn't look very good, does it? Is deleting videos a sign of guilt? Because if it is, then you might just be fucked, my friend.
About it, and they would blow up and bring more attention to the situation, almost treating it like some sort of game. And there's a reason that most of the LA influencers choose to stay away from her, and I can't even express to you guys how many stories I've heard about her doing shitty things to people, and there's still so much more that I want to say about this.
Again, no proof! I've heard so many stories of her doing shitty things to people, so I am not going to show you any of it. I'm not going to show you any screenshots, any texts, anything. Even on the night of the 5th of July or whatever, your proof was that you were at the gym. You know, you don't spend the whole 24 hours at the fucking gym. By the way, I'm not going to dwell too much on the Noor And Nick situation. I'm also not going to tell you who to believe on there. I just wanted to give a little bit more context and cover it just slightly so that we knew what happened back then, because it does directly involve this situation as well. Whether or not what Nick potentially did implicates Matty in any way, shape, or form, I suppose is subjective. However, I will say that the complete failure to mention Nick in Matty's response video is certainly a little bit suspicious. So I'll give Jayus that, I'll give Noor that, for sure. But again, I don't think that's any real verifiable evidence to call them a predator or a pedophile or someone who's so creepy that they don't deserve the platform that they have. Even Noor, I think, very responsibly said that there was no real crime committed on Matty's part and that their behavior was just quote-unquote weird, which I really do agree with. And I actually really appreciate Noor for being, I guess, proportional with their response to it and not over-dramatizing it, despite being despite being the victim in the situation. Jayus doesn't seem to have that trait, though. They seem to really like over-dramatizing fucking everything, which sort of dirties their claims a little bit. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say on the situation, so unless anything big happens from now on, this will probably be my last video on it. I guess last thing I want to say is that in the comment sections of these videos, it's just full of people being like, I don't know which side to pick. Should I be on Matty's side? I'm on Jayus' side. No, I'm back on Matty's side now. It's like, you'll calm down a little bit, you know? This doesn't actually affect your life in any meaningful way. You don't need to pick a side. In fact, it's probably best if you don't pick a side, because both sides have definitely fucked up here. Like, just chill, it's fine. There are other TikTokers to watch if you don't want to support either of these people. It's like if my channel was wiped off the face of the earth. I'm not the only commentary YouTuber on this bitch. Like, you'll be fine. Although I am the best one. Coolest guy. That's me. Which is why you're subscribed. And if you're not, then you should do. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!